Welcome to the Wander Women's Collective podcast. I'm your host, Gracie Hins. Thank you so much for listening in today. And do remember, if you like this episode, maybe share it with a friend or family member who you think might also enjoy it. Today's episode is with Alenka Mali, and I'm so psyched to share this one. We got to chat on the phone for a while before we recorded the podcast, and so I feel like I got to know her like really well. And she's just a super rad, down to earth human, and it was really cool getting to hear about her journey from competitive snowboarding to transitioning more into the photo video scene. And she just had a film come out called The Beginning, and that was how I actually even like how she got on my radar, because I was up in Bellingham, Washington watching the film festival, and I saw her video and I was like, oh my gosh, this chick is like mixing base jumping and snowboarding, and I've never seen anything like it, and the filming was beautiful. And so yeah, it was really cool to just get to know the person behind the film. So you should definitely check out her new film, and she's also working on a couple of new things too, and we dive into that in this conversation as well. I also just wanted to say, if anybody has any people that you would like to hear on the podcast, please let me know. I find I'm somebody that just gets like so psyched on people and topics, and so wherever my interests are kind of lying, like those are the kind of people that I'm talking to. So yeah, if anybody wants to hear anything specific, please let me know and shoot me an email or something. But yeah, without further ado, here is this week's episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Do you want to first off introduce yourself a little bit and just tell everybody what you spend your time doing and like who you are?
Yeah, wow, such a simple question. I'm like, "Ugh, what do I say?" Um, my name is Alenka Mali. I live in Squamish. I'm originally from Slovenia, and I've spent the last decade of my life dedicating um, basically my whole life to snowboarding, going from freeride competitions into filming in the backcountry in the most recent years. I love climbing mountains. I love base jumping, and just overall being outside makes me happy.
Oh, such a fun introduction. Well, okay, just kind of getting the audience a little bit more introduced to like who you are. I feel like it's really fun because your other film, The Beginning, like just came out for everybody to see. That's right, because I it wasn't available like on YouTube or Vimeo or anything else before this last week, right?
No, it literally just came out a couple of days ago. It's online, it's free, open to anybody with internet. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
it's
want to
a
just give
movie.
a little bit of background to like what the storyline of that movie was and like how you even came up with the whole idea of it?
Yeah, so the beginning is obviously going back to my beginnings a little bit, how we were raised as kids, how we traveled around as a family. Um, and then it kind of follows the progress of me combining the two sports that I love, snowboarding and base jumping, and eventually doing a snowboard base jump. And it's all filmed around Squamish. And then at the end, my mom came over and we were filming some stuff with her as well. It was very fun.
It looked absolute. I mean, the whole thing was done so incredibly well. Did you film it not this, it was 2 winters ago, or was it this last, not this last winter, but the winter before? I'm like trying to math in my head and I'm like, that's not adding up right.
Yeah, it was winter. It was last year, 1 year ago exactly. It's when we
Okay.
were filming it, winter of 2024.
Got it. And you started, because when you filmed that, when was it? Like, do you want to give a little bit of background of like your snowboarding career as well? Because this is what, as you're saying, like it is the beginning too of like kind of this new season of life that you're moving into of like doing a lot more video and filming and coming out of kind of like that competition era too.
Yeah, I think like I spent about 4 years competing in freeride, and it was amazing. I loved it. I learned a lot. It pushed me. But at the end of the day, it was not very satisfying. Even when I would get first place, it would feel good for maybe a day or two, and then you're like, okay, off to the next, you need to keep winning to feel good, which is impossible. Like nobody
Mhm.
keeps winning constantly, it's not a realistic goal. So it just a little bit got stuck in that loop of like trying to push myself, trying to push for it, but then just like chasing the dragon, almost like never getting to where I wanted to go. Um, and it's just a lot of money and a lot of energy. And I thought, well, what if I put the same amount of money and the same amount of energy into creating like a timeless piece that's gonna stay around forever, even after I'm gone. It's not gonna be some metal that's gonna be tossed in the drawer. It can, inspire people for generations to come. And that's how I came up with the idea for the beginning.
When you were saying how you kind of like came to the realization of like, okay, that feeling of like winning only lasts for a little bit. I feel like that takes so many people so long to like come to that realization. And like, I mean, you're still pretty young. And so like, I feel like having that realization like early on is just something that's like a little bit unique. And so was there like kind of like a moment that you were like, this is not like, the thing that I need to be striving after, or like how did you kind of come to that?
Probably I came to that conclusion like on my last season when I just wasn't winning that much, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And when you keep getting third place or second place or fourth place or even lower, you're just like, it's hard to like go back to every event and be super motivated over and over again. And just, man, like I realized just looking back, reflecting every season, I was just not spending time in the backcountry. I would get maybe 10 days in the backcountry in the whole season, whereas before it would be more than 30. So I was just constantly riding resort for competitions, for training, and not even good stuff, like not even
Mm-hmm.
powder, just shitty, icy shit. Um, and it like I was losing a little bit of a drive to keep going. And at the same time, I didn't know what else. It's kind of like I hit the ceiling in that scene, you know? Um, Obviously, you can always progress and you can always be better and you can always achieve more, but I felt like I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I got some incredible results. They're gonna stay behind my name forever, nobody can take those away from me. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, like, what's next? I need something more. And I never planned on staying in competitions for a long time. That was never the plan.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like a avenue towards
Mm-hmm.
where I am now,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Well, and
exciting.
how did you get into competing initially?
Um, I can't remember how like I got into it. I guess I was just riding with people who told me I should compete because they told me I was good. And whether they were um honest or not, that was like their perception, like something inside of me sparked, and I was like, okay, well, if they're saying it, it must be true, then maybe I'll give it a go. Um and then I started and I basically got a few podiums my first season on, and I was stoked on it. I started to get more sponsors. People were picking up on what I was doing, and it motivated me to continue and basically like for like I said 4 years fully dedicate myself to it.
Well, and what did your year kind of look like with that schedule? Because was it just like constant travel?
Yeah, it was so much traveling and not a lot of snowboarding, let me tell you. So I would do northern and southern hemisphere. So I would start the season in January, usually like mid to end January, and it would go like all the way to beginning of April. Then I would have a bit of a spring here in BC, and then in August and September I would be competing in South America.
Okay.
So so I would either travel in North America by car or a plane. So I was doing a lot of kilometers in my car. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
with my partner, sometimes by myself, sometimes with friends or with an airplane. And then I would fly down south, which is so much work. I go to Argentina anyways, but to go there, to spend money to compete, it's like it's just like extra, 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 extra. So it was a lot, but it made me happy. And when I was winning, it was bringing money back to me. So
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, I was stoked because for the first time in my life, I was getting paid to snowboard, and
Mm-hmm.
that's quite exciting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a wild schedule though. Like with all of those competitions, regardless of what sport it is, it's crazy when like you do start to factor in the travel piece of it too. And it's like, okay, like it costs so much to compete. You're constantly traveling. Like you have to just be able to like, be able to have that like lifestyle that you can do that too. Um, and then like with the backcountry piece of it too. Because I know that your dad is a guide. And so when you like, what did like your growing up look like? Because I know that it was split between like multiple places, but like, how did the backcountry piece of it get introduced to your life?
I think mostly when I was younger, we just spent a lot of time on rocks. So my parents were super into climbing. So
Mm-hmm.
they more than chasing winters, they were chasing summers. And we would kind of be split between Europe and Argentina. They would spend a lot of time climbing in Patagonia. So sometimes they would bring us, like me and my brothers, with them down south and just keep us in the base camp when they went climbing. Um, and yeah, I remember doing some backcountry skiing because I was skiing my whole life, but not that much. Usually we would like skin up to a waterfall and then we would like ice climb or something. It was more like an access tool rather than let's ski down afterwards. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of. But we spent a lot of time outside and had a lot of fun. And obviously, like, yeah, my parents just from day one prioritized nature and mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like in a few sentences, how do you feel like that has like shaped your life pattern? Because I feel like it kind of like having those experiences so young, it just, yeah, it makes a big impact on like who you are and like what you look at like your life becoming.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I guess I always thought it was normal. I never really questioned it until I was talking to other kids my age and realized that they were not climbing every weekend. That's kind of weird. It's like, what do you guys do
Mhm.
all weekend? They're like, yeah, we watch TV. And I'm like, really? Don't you get bored? Um, and then I guess in like mid-teens to late teens, I was like I guess from like age 14 to 17 I like didn't want anything to do with the mountains. I
Mm-hmm.
was I wanted to be a director and working with Johnny Depp and working in Hollywood and just not be here, kind of mentality, far away from everything that they did as possible. Um just I guess trying to avoid becoming like your parents. And then at the end of the day, here we are. And I'm exactly like them. And I love it. So, like, eventually, I found the true essence, back to my roots.
Mhm. I know, amazing how that happens, especially like, I mean, I feel that too, just like, I don't want to be anything like my parents. And then you're like, wait a second, like what they're doing is actually kind of sick. Like, I do actually kind of want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, then you look at them one day and you're like, okay, they're kind of cool.
I know, I
I'll
know.
give you
Yeah, I
that.
know. Totally. That's okay. That's also interesting because like you were just saying how like you took the stint away of like, okay, I don't want to do this. But then like talking about the director piece of it and like now where you are doing like so much video work, did you start like actively pursuing like video and photo during that time and then like kind of have that in the back pocket of like, okay, like this is something that I really do want to like pick up later?
Yeah. So I worked basically as a like professional photographer for the last 8 years, I want to say. I was basically paying my competitions.
Mm.
And I still enjoy it, and sometimes I still do it. Um, and I guess just last year, like the movie that I did last year, I produced it alongside with my director, Chris. And this movie that I'm working on now, I'm producing as well. And I'm really realizing how much I enjoy just organizing the crew, getting the funding, selling the idea, selling the movie after it's done. I enjoy all those pieces. It's kind of like putting it together a big puzzle, you know? And all
Mm-hmm.
these like pieces on a chessboard almost. Um, and yeah, like I don't know. Maybe it's just faith of life of like you try so hard to go into one direction or like to get to one point and then you I guess take a little side street but then you end up at the same point without even planning on it where you
Mm-hmm.
were trying to like manifest from the beginning. So I guess like yeah. And on top of that I work in like reality TV shows and um like with like mountain safety, rigging, stunt work. So I'm in little bits of pieces in many ways involved in the film industry,
Okay,
and I
wait,
really
say
enjoy it.
more about those two things because I did not know either of those two fun facts. What reality TV and then the rigging also sounds like kind of crazy and fun.
Yeah, it's just like stunt rigging or stunt coordination. So it's nothing like nothing fancy. I'm like very much in the background
Mm-hmm.
of everything. We just keep people safe that are doing quote unquote dangerous things, or like in more exposed situations. You know, we would like rope them in if they're filming on an edge, or set up a climbing route, or like
Mm-hmm.
put them safely in a helicopter if we're filming in the mountains, stuff like that.
Is
And
that
I work in
for
like
like,
amazing. Sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, is that all for like more like outdoor film stuff, or is that for like a Hollywood-esque mountain shot scene in like a James Bond movie?
I guess I worked on both sides of things. Some of them are like reality TV, like Amazing Race or
Okay, okay.
Canada's Equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked on Yellow Jackets. I don't know if you know the show, but it's like a scripted TV show.
That sounds really
Um,
familiar. Yeah.
yeah, I would recommend it. It's kind of
Okay.
creepy, but it's yeah. So both sides, different style.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. That's a different, like, it throws a little spice in with everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, and pays the bills very nicely.
Yeah. Well, and is that all like more local work in Squamish area, like Squamish, Vancouver, or is that like something that you have to throw on the calendar and travel for?
Most of it it's travel.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would be like the mountains east of Vancouver, so like Chehalis Mountains, Chilliwack, Hope area, or like kind of just all over Canada.
Yeah. Well, and like, what was the introduction to that? Because that seems like both tied to kind of the outdoor world, but also like a very different thing in and of itself. So like were you like shooting at some event and then somebody was like, "Hey, like, would you want to do any rigging?"
No, not really. So my dad worked on TV quite a lot
Got
as a
it, got
guide,
it.
and he brought me in with one of the productions, and I shot with them for a couple of seasons. Um, and then I guess that's how I got like other contacts, and then my ex-partner owns a rigging company, and that's how I got into rigging because I worked alongside with him for a couple of years.
Gotcha.
So just like in this industry, I guess it's all contacts. But I learned like you can be very valuable if you bring on a good skill set, if you have like very like different types of skills, not just one specific trade that you're working on. And
Hmm.
if you have a good attitude, man, people are gonna invite you back because there's so much work. You just like don't be an asshole. That's it.
No, it's incredible like how far just not being an asshole goes. And like the skill set workplace, like having that good attitude is like really just what keeps you coming back.
Definitely. And like I'm sure you relate to that too, but film industry is like one of those places where you just work insane hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like just don't get a break for lunch, you have to eat on the go
Mm-hmm.
while you're shooting. And yeah, people go crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah. No,
you
people
gotta
do go
like
crazy.
take care
Yes.
of yourself.
Well, and like, how do you, I mean, like, how are you splitting your time with that work and then the work that you're doing with filming and then also with like your guiding? I also love the hat. You're repping the Lux snow.
Thank you. Um, I guess it's just different seasons in a year bring different kind of projects my way.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to overwhelm myself with like five things at the same time, but sometimes they overlap and I just have to deal with it. So right now I'm talking to you, but I'm charging radios for tomorrow. Like I'm like like most of the time I'm doing five things at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think I operate better that way, if that makes sense. Like I can't just have like one job or one project that I'm focusing on for 3 months. I love having different things to work on, like this week we're shooting here, next week we're doing this. I'm gonna prep for the second week where we're shooting the first thing again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think I do well. Obviously, like people around me complain sometimes because I don't give them enough time. Um, but I try. I really try. I do my best to like manage my time efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Well, and do you ever feel like you get to a point where it's like you hit like a little mini burnout?
Yeah. Yeah. At
Yeah.
least a couple times a year. I
Yeah.
like I crash. And
Yeah.
not me, the body. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like just on the ground and I'm forced to take a break one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you like identify that and then deal with it?
Um, I don't know. Depends how severe it is. Depends what's on the schedule that week. I hate canceling. That's the problem. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I have to cancel on people. Depends how important it is. Sometimes I cancel it and I'm like, okay, I need a day of doing nothing. And then I'm like, emails all day, This is my version of doing nothing.
Yep.
My body's hurting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I'll get better at it as I get older. But I also am realizing that like it doesn't matter that much, like things can wait and it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be fine. Like that line that you're dreaming of writing, it's gonna be there next year and the year after. And if things don't work out, it's probably for a really good reason.
And it's a good, yeah, no, I think that that's a good reminder because it does feel like, I don't know, depending on like how psyched you are on something, like I feel like I get myself caught in that a little bit of like, if it's something that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just found out about this and like I need to go do it, then I get like so excited and I'm like, I literally have to go do that. And I'm like, okay, Gracie, like take one step back. Like you're saying, it's still going to be there next year, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's
And
okay.
you can probably do it better the next year anyways. So yeah, or
Hmm.
just like marinating on it a little bit longer too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so then with Lux Snow too, because I'm like, this is such another fun thing that you're doing. When did that start? And do you want to give a little bit of background on like what it is that you're doing and what you're offering too?
Yeah, so I got the idea for Lux came about a couple years ago. But then like until I guess until last year or like 2 years ago, I never really committed to it. And
Mm-hmm.
then one year I was just like, all right, I'm setting the dates, I'm booking the house, I'm booking the like everything that's happening, and we're organizing an all-woman backcountry retreat in Argentina. Um, and the reason why I wanted to do that is because a lot of girls would reach out to me saying, "Oh, I see you going snowboarding in Argentina and Patagonia every year. It looks amazing. I would love to join one day." And I was like, "Man, this experience can be a very valuable and very unique trip for some people that have never been to South America, that love snowboarding, that love good food, that love spending time with other women in the mountains. Like this could be a thing." Um, And that's how Lux Snow started. And yeah, we've had a few retreats now. We started running them in Whistler as well. This year was the first one in Whistler. It went incredibly well. So far, all the retreats have sold out, which is unreal, if you
Yeah.
ask me. Yeah, I get to work with my dad when we're in Argentina, and it's just fun. Like it's a really good energy. It's a good learning environment. When women are next to other women, they have, I guess, more confidence to ask questions. You know, we all love good food and good snacks, and that's a big part of Lux. It's good food. In the backcountry and in the house, yoga is a big part of it. So we balance all the intensity of the mountain with very chill yin yoga.
Hmm.
Um, it's good. Like I love running these trips. They like fill my cup, you know. Seeing how stoked the girls are really fills my cup, and it's turning into a good thing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like everything that like this is the second time I've heard you talk about it now. And like I'm just like, wow. Yeah, that's all the things that I love. I need to put that on my calendar for next year. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean it's so fun and like it's just so cool too because I feel like it's one of those things that it's like, okay, if you love it and other people are seeing it, then like obviously there's something there. And like, I don't know, like I feel like I've seen like a couple of other things, but I think especially like with these women's trips, it is so much about just like the person too and like the expertise and like you obviously have that. And so it's just like, yeah, no, it's super epic. Because are you doing like 4 trips a year right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this year we have, well, I guess we're if all of them go, we're gonna have 5 trips this year. So we have two in Argentina coming up in August, one in Costa Rica in September, and one in Mexico. That's a climbing one in November.
Yes, because the Costa Rica one is surfing and then Mexico's
Yeah.
climbing. Oh my gosh, that's so rad. Have you
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in Costa Rica surfing?
No, but the person who is like one of my really good friends, Yuji, who's from Argentina, she's actually going to be the host for that retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent a lot of time there. She knows all the people in the area that we're going to host it at. And she's an amazing human being. She was also on our Whistler retreat, but I've never been, and I'm super excited to go. So Lux Surf, it's kind of like a collaboration with me and her,
Mm-hmm.
um, to put like our energies together into one special week in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. Which part of Costa Rica is it?
Osa Peninsula, a peninsula Osa.
Okay. I have no idea where that is, but I'll have to look it up on Google Maps.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's super fun. Well, and like how, because does your dad, is he in Squamish or is he in Argentina or both?
He's in Squamish, yeah. He's in
Okay,
Squamish.
got it. So
Goes
how
to
is it?
Argentina,
Yeah,
like once, twice a year.
gotcha. Is he,
Yeah.
wait, no, that was not how my sentence was planning to come out. What is it like working with your dad? Because I feel like this was something that we talked about like 2 weeks ago too, of just like I feel like so many people when they hear that like you work with your dad, it's like, oh my gosh, like I could literally never do that. And like as somebody who also works with their dad, like it's so much fun because I feel like there is just like work in normal life, like as kids, you just don't ever get to see your parents in that role. And work is so much of our life. And I feel like it is just like this cool thing when like those two are able to blend and you're able to spend more time with your parents in the places that they love and in the places that you love. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's awesome, honestly, in small doses for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, we have fun for
Hmm.
sure. We have a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. Like I think it's super awesome. Like I'm sure it's nice for him too that I'm interested in the same thing that he's doing. You know, going down the guiding path. But I enjoy it. I think I have a lot to learn from him, and I basically have a mentor, which is nice. I know you relate
Hmm.
as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and are you, because you are working on okay, I'm gonna like butcher the acronym for this. The AMGA, is that it? Mountain guiding or
Oh,
IMFAG?
it's yeah, in US it's AMJ, I think. In Canada it's ACMG.
Okay, got it. What does it look like?
Yeah.
What does that
Um
path to like getting that full certification look like?
so well it's complicated. First, you need to, depends which route you want to go. You can go a ski guide or rock guide or an alpine guide. And if you have all three, you become a full mountain guide, which
Got
is
it.
where I eventually want to be. But it's probably going to take some time. It's going to
Hmm.
take some years to get there, which is okay. So I'm doing my ski guide certification first. And for that, you need to basically do professional avalanche training in Canada. Um, you need to do your avalanche operations courses, avalanche search and rescue. Then you need to
Hmm.
do downhill screening to so they make sure that you're capable of skiing any kind of terrain within standards, Their standards are pretty big, they're pretty high. And then after you have those couple things sorted, oh, and you need your 80-hour wilderness first aid. So after you have those
Gotcha.
four things, then you can apply to enter the guiding program. But you like to apply into the program, you need quite a variety of experience in the backcountry, different kind of terrain, glaciers, traverses, hot trips, snow camping. They just want to see somebody who's like almost like been all over the world, ski toured everywhere, knows different types of snowpacks, somebody who's like capable of making good decisions for themselves before they even let you into the program. Yeah. And then once you're in the program, you do the courses, then you do your apprentice exam, you become an apprentice for 3 years. Then you need to
Whoa.
do more avalanche training. Um, and then after gaining some experience working as a guide, then you do your full guide exam and then you become a guide.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a full, yeah, no, that's like a full job right there in and of itself. I
Yeah.
think I had heard, because I know a couple other people that are going down that path, and I don't think I realized how long the apprenticeship piece of that is.
hmm Which makes sense that like guides, they have other people's lives in their hands, They
Mm.
want to, they don't want to just, it's not a badge that they want to just give away to anyone. I think it's completely valid that they make the process so complicated and long because not everybody deserves to be a guide,
Yeah, no,
to
that's
put it
very true.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, what do your next couple of months look like? Because I'm like, we're getting slightly tight on time here already. But and I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
there's still so much that we could be talking about, like the entirety of base jumping and so many other things. But
I know
what
there's
is
so many topics.
mm-hmm. But what is kind of like the next few months of your life kind of look like?
So I guess right now in the next couple of weeks, I'm focusing on finishing the BC segment of the movie that we're making. Um, so we're doing like the mission that we're doing this week, then we're going into some summer mode shoot days, like one of the girls bikes, the other girl climbs, I'm jumping, so we're shooting each girl in her summer element. Then we need to do the interviews, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm off to Europe basically for almost 3 months. Gonna go jumping and spend some time with my family between Slovenia, Italy, and Switzerland. And then I'm going to Argentina for 2 months. We're gonna have our Lux trips, and then I'm going to an expedition in continental ice down between Chile and Argentina and Patagonia, and hopefully um, ride a first descent.
That's exciting stuff. What like element of the filmmaking do you feel like? Because I feel like every element of it is so different, where it's like, okay, you have the filming piece of it, but then and then you have like the little things that you don't even think about, like the interviews and like the summer element, which it's like it is so important to have that in the film, but I feel like most people don't think about it because it's a little bit of that like, oh, and then like here's this other story. And then you have like so much of the back end of it too. Like what parts of it do you just get like super psyched on? Or is it kind of like all of it and then just like it all coming together at the end?
Yeah, I think, well, I love this part that we're in right now. So pre-production is kind of boring, and you get a lot of people telling you no, we don't want to give you money, and you
Mm-hmm.
just need to keep trying. And then production is like the time where you're filming everything, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and you get to be in the mountains with your friends, and it's really fun. So that's where the phase that we're at right now, which is I love it. Yeah. And then post-production, thankfully, I'm not the editor. We get to pay somebody to do that. That is also very exciting because that's when you see like the movie starting to take shape.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like figuring out the pieces that you're missing, what you're looking for, like if there's some more of a story that you need to do. And kind of like slowly your baby's coming to life. And that's very exciting. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously the best part is like the first time you get to screen the movie, like the
Mm-hmm.
premiere. You get to show it to all your friends.
Yeah, well, and with this one, when will it be coming out? Will it be next winter? Is
It
that
would be October, November. Yeah,
okay?
this year.
Oh my gosh, wait, that's a quick turnaround from the last bits of filming in September to then being potentially ready in October.
Yeah, it's gonna be very quick.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes.
I know. That's exciting though. I'm excited to see it.
Hopefully, we're gonna be back on Girl Winter Film Tour.
Oh, got it, got it. Yeah, because when does the first screening of Girl Winter come out?
I guess end of October, beginning of
Okay.
November.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes sense with the winter part of it. Who are
Yeah.
the other girls that are in this film?
So one of them is Izzy Asler. She's from Chile. We met competing together. She's really strong rider, like super awesome, very like opinionated girl. I love to have her on the crew. Very honest, very South American. And the other one is Irie. Irie is actually born and raised in Whistler, which is very rare these days. And she's also becoming a guide, really good with like decision making, really intuitive human being, super sweet, like a ray of sunshine. So we
Hmm.
have such a good crew.
Do you have anything to leave people with today?
Ooh, I would just say like do something hard every day. Do something that you find incredibly hard, and by the end of 1 month, you're gonna do so many things and really surprise yourself. Every day, do something hard.
That is solid advice. It's good advice to remember every day. I need to like wake up that with that like as my alarm. Do something hard today.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. You know,
Um,
sometimes you like just go through your day and your checklists and you finish the day without doing anything really challenging. And you kind of feel like, nah, I didn't really achieve anything.
that's true. That is totally true. And then you have the days that it's like, oh my, yeah, like falling asleep at night and just being like, oh my gosh, like I had a full day is like the best feeling ever.
It is,
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and remember to maybe give us a thumbs up wherever it is that you are listening. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of their week.